We are at the NWFA Wood Flooring Expo. We're in St. Louis. This is the final day. I am with Stephen Wang, who is the owner and head guy at Measure Square. You're in the software
Dave,
business.
How are you? Yes, good, good. How are you?
Let me ask you first, the show. This is the final day. It seems like this has been better than last year.
Absolutely. Well, this is our first year, but it's doing a lot better than we expected. So we're excited to see all the folks in the hardwood industry and see how this new technology is going to helping them with their measure estimating needs.
Do you have any feel for the percentage of contractors and retailers that have made a jump into software? I mean, that's impossible to know, but you have an educated guess?
Right. We see more and more people jumping into this technology. I would say still the adoption rate's a little slow. And also but we see more younger generation and more people in the industry are adopting the technology once they see how this thing works.
The sons of the old veterans are saying, Dad, I'm not doing this on a yellow pad.
Sure. Sure. We're showing the real measure estimating with this iPad and this iPhone solution where everybody has one, so they can easily jump and see how this thing works.
Now, talk about, you focus on estimating software. Talk about that decision and give us a little run-through as to what your software does and what it's all about.
Right. What it does is that you take your iPad and also a laser measuring device with you to the job site in front of your customers, where you can quickly measure and giving them the accurate estimate right on the spot, and you come up not only with the drawings and with the product catalog in your iPad, so that you can give them a quote right on the spot, so that you can close the sale right there instead of waiting for another day or so to give them a quote.
That has to be an attractive advantage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Compared to a guy coming with a sketch paper and also a pencil, you have a good advantage over, so that it's building up the trust right on the spot. Yeah.
It seems to me that if you walk into a millennial's house and you take out your tape,
right,
you've lost some points right there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can connect with them if you use your iPad or iPhone, where you have their house measured just right with a laser meter, and it's quick and it's professional and it's scheduled the sales.
And I guess the possibility of a mistake has been reduced as well.
Oh, substantially, because all the drawings are there with the right number. If it doesn't fit, it's not going to see it correctly on the iPhone or iPad. It's visually, it verifies what you have measured.
Now, you can measure each of the rooms while you're there with the iPad. You can put product in it.
Absolutely.
And you can show, like with carpet, where the seams are,
right,
and you can show what the pattern would look like with wood or other products.
Exactly. You can just simply drag and drop from your catalog into this measured room, so it shows the visual effects, even a 3D texture image of those 3D rooms, so we can easily just switching in to see the effects and how much they cost right on the spot.
And if they want a specific pattern, say in wood,
right,
herringbone or something like that, can you do that?
Yes, you can do that as well by just giving a direction of the layout, different patterns, and also for the wood pattern or for the tile patterns as well.
And you can change it as you go, I suppose, if you have to.
Sure, sure. You can also synchronize the drawing back to the office, so that if you're just doing the measuring, your people in the office would get the same drawing, so they can continue on with the sales process.
I see. Now, you had showed me a minute ago how you can estimate off a blueprint.
Oh, yes, yeah. Lots of times you can just get a blueprints PDF from a website or from a customer, or even from a photocopy of your iPhone, bring them into the program so that you can trace them around and give them a quote without even go to the job site.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I mean, that would seem to be the way to do it if it was at all possible.
Absolutely. You see that all the time, especially for people doing the contract work for the multifamily or for the apartment replacement market. They do that all the time.
I see. Well, it makes perfect sense. With carpet, I know you show where the seams are. Talk about that.
Right. The program will automatically generate the seam where the seam goes with an optimized waist, but still you will be able just to drag it over to change to whichever location you want it to be, to optimize further and get you the way that the customer wants as well, just in front of them.
So that would seem to be an opportunity to increase the sale for a salesperson. You know, you can put your seam here, it will be right in front of the couch, or you could put it here, and that would maybe require a little bit more product.
Yeah, that's the feedback we got from the users of this program all the time. Being able to show where the seam goes and also to change where the seam layout goes. For example, sometimes you want to add a few T-seams to reduce the waste, but you communicate that in front of the customer so they understand, hey, to reduce that waste, you have to get more seams. Otherwise, they're paying a little bit more than your computation, so it's understandable by the customers.
And you show them the cuts right there.
Exactly. That's very helpful for your installers to be able to install exactly the way you want it to be instead of their way, so it's not short.
Well, I'm sure many customers are skeptical. Hey, he's trying to sell more than he really has to here, but this actually proves how much is needed and where it fits.
Yeah, exactly. It's building up the trust immediately so we can see where the waste ratio goes, where the percentage is, so they know exactly this is the square yardage they would need it instead of something just overly estimated.
So when people come in and are resistant to adopt stuff like this and they're still doing things the old way, it would seem like it'd be awfully hard to justify that given a better way you can probably make more money and minimize loss. It would seem like there'd be very few reasons.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once you will be able to see how this thing works or start playing with it, you will see how easy it is just to adopt the technology. Of course, there's a little learning curve for using this thing, but once you get that skill, it's a lifetime skill you don't want to give up in the future.
What sort of time frame would you say it's going to take for somebody to get fluent with this?
It's probably taking a few days just to get to be fluent, but I can teach this in about 15 minutes in front of you.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
Suppose somebody out there has another management software system, industry-specific software system. Can this system work with theirs?
Yes, absolutely. We're using an open architecture so that it's pretty easy for any software system to integrate with the system, including the QuickBooks. In that way, they can pull the diagrams, the estimate from our measured results, put it back into their management system, so it's working with the third-party application easily.
Well, I'm told that probably more independent retailers out there are using QuickBooks or something like that than are using industry-specific software. This would give them a good opportunity to sort of ease into the 21st century.
That's absolutely true, and we got lots of users that are using QuickBooks, so the estimate created with the solution, they can be just exported into the QuickBooks so that they don't have to double entry it. Yeah.
Now, contrast your estimating software with some of the tools that are already out there. Is it a great deal different?
Yes, it's a lot easier to use with this mobile device, especially with the iPad and iPhone solutions. Just with the finger drag and drop and just draw the things. And also coupled with this laser meter thing, it's a lot easier to use and also a lot faster than the other platforms and than other systems as well.
How do you decide just to concentrate on estimating as opposed to maybe the whole package?
That's told by our company name. We got Measure Square Corp. So we specialized in this measure estimating technology just for the floor covering and also the home improvement industry. So that made us standing out from the rest of the computations.
Very good. And you've had a good response here at this show?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a lot more than we expected. On the first day, we got about 40 people attending the product demo. And down the last 2 days, we have seen people coming over to the booth to see the demo, and they have been looking for this thing for a long time.
Can you show us how this works?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This tool works. How when you go to a customer home, say John Smith's home, you will be able to start just going measure the rooms, right? So if it's a rectangular shape, you go to this drawing tool, you tap on the rectangular shape, just use your finger just to create a room. This is your room number 1. You would come up with another room, for example, say room number 2, just by giving the correct size, okay? Or you have a closet over here, you just go measure the closet, all right? So of course, there's other odd-shaped rooms where you need a freehand drawing, okay? You just tap on the drawing tool again, go to the freehand drawing, okay? Then start from wherever you want to go measure, okay? Just start to a direction and having the laser meter putting the size for you. When you measure, that size would go in here. Then you just continue on whichever direction that this room is actually about. And moving it around, just continue on, measure all the angles, right? If you need to continue on. So this is a process how you would be continue on changing, and then you can close the shape when you are done with the drawings, okay? The next step, you would just putting every room next to each other so they form a floor plan over there, okay? So for example, then putting them next to each other, so it's forming a floor plan, okay? All right, this is a closet over here as well, okay? Then if there's stairways, okay, so you can go putting the stairways, okay, just dragging them over and putting the size for the stairways. And then, of course, if there's doorways, you need to having the doorways over here, and then drag the doorways, right? Putting the doorways wherever they go, for example. I mean, dragging this doorway. Okay. The reason you want to put in the doorway, is that you want to calculate the transitions. Okay. So that the transition can be calculated. You can put in a French doorway, for example, to the front of the room of the. Okay. Now the next step, you would go to your catalogs and putting the product into this measured room. If it's a carpet over there, just drag it over. Say, hey, put the carpet to this room. You would see that the seam gets generated automatically. Putting another carpet over here, then putting the carpet over there. And then, so that's automatically generate where the seam goes, all right? Now, you can also see the cut sheet over here on this side as well. So you can see the square yardage, the waist ratio, and also where the cuts are coming from, okay? To see the different layout direction, you would go over here and say, hey, I want to see how it's layout in the vertical layout direction. So it's automatically adjusting everything in the vertical layout direction, all right? So now if the customer said, hey, let's change from this carpet over here to the wood on the living room, you would go to the catalog, say, hey, putting the wood in this living room area, so it's automatically readjusting everything for you, okay? For example, to change another product over here, just drag and drop, okay? So for the other end-ons, for example, if you got moldings or you got wall base, you would simply just drag in this wall base over, so it's calculating the linear footage for the wall base and also for the molding as well, for example. Just drag them over, so it's automatically replacing that, okay? Then if everything looks right, you would be able to generate estimate or quotation with this product assignments. You go to this panel, then go to worksheet. This is where you get the number of the square yardage and also your hands-on product over here. This is how it can be turned into a quote so that you can have your customer sign it and be able to send them a copy so the sales is made on the spot, right? So that's the overall process. And then, of course, this diagram file can be synchronized to your office as well, so people in the office can continue on, work with the purchase order, work order, or for the installation manager to prepare for the inventory and gets this ready for installations, right? So the whole tool is in one package where you can start from A to Z to get the sales closed in front of the customer professionally and as efficiently on the spot.